Tony Gordon, what a true master. Our next speaker, Dan Thurman, has spent his lifetime learning to deliver top performances under pressure. He's delivered thousands of presentations across 6 continents, and he's actively seeking referrals to Antarctica. Okay, maybe not. Dan is a recent inductee to the Speakers Hall of Fame. He's president of Motivation Works, Inc., and has authored 2 books, Success in Action, and most recently, Off Balance on Purpose. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, expand your thinking, sharpen your focus, and let's have some fun. Please welcome Dan Thurman.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to give you a speech. I came here to deliver an experience. And today and yesterday, you've experienced some amazing speakers. You've learned volumes of wonderful ideas that you will implement to improve your practice and, dare I say, your life. What I wish to do today is to provide an experience which will enable you to turn those ideas into action. And with that in mind, maybe I should have started differently. What if, when Mickey introduced me a moment ago, instead of coming out and speaking with you, what if I started with action? With a bold commitment that demonstrated to this amazing audience that I was here to deliver. I don't know, maybe I would run to this corner of the stage, and then I would look across at the expanse of this platform and begin to run. Right about the time I got in front of this lectern, I would then throw my body into a round-off. If you don't know, it's like a cartwheel, and then I'd be facing this way. I would launch my body backwards from my feet to my hands, back to my feet, and I would turn facing all of you and throw myself straight up into a backward somersault, landing ready to begin. What do you think? Yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, that would be good. I mean, could you imagine? The energy in this room would be far different. You'd be much more engaged and much more curious about what I would say and do next. And I'm willing to bet that because I described it for you in detail, you can already see it happening, can't you? Indulge me here with a show of hands. How many of you in your mind's eye can picture me pulling this off? Well, look around the room. That's nearly everyone. That's fantastic. That means we don't have to do it. So moving on. I mean, you have the image. Isn't that enough? Absolutely not. My friends, success in life and business is not about your bold idea. It's about action and your willingness, as you've heard throughout the day, to follow through. So I'm starting over. And this will either be a sensational new beginning to our experience or an amazing finish. Either way, it will be memorable. And I can't do it alone. No, I need to tune into all of you. So if you'd help me out, put your hands about this far apart and give you some energy as one voice. Together we're going to clap. Ready? Go! Okay, that was close. You know, when you're working with your clients, when you're working with your staff, when you're trying to develop a business that has momentum, it takes practice and it takes repetition. Those simple things that we do consistently. So in a moment, we're going to tune in, make those adjustments, and try to find what that rhythm would feel like for all of you. Hands out? Okay. One thing's for sure, for me at this point, there's no turning back, is there? There's no way for me to back out and still have your respect. And there's a message there. If you are serious about transformation for yourself or for your business, often we need to make the bold promise before you have it all exactly figured out. But once you voice your intention, you'll find a new level of commitment inside you, new resources around you to help make it happen. Hands out. Deep breath. Mainly that part's for me, but thank you. And let's go. Now we feel it. Awesome. Hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please welcome Dan Thurman.
Ready? Yes! Thank you. Now, tell me, can you feel a difference? How many of you are relieved, let's be honest? I know. Am I suggesting, though, that you get so pumped up and inspired from this experience that you return home to your business and your clients with a new plan of action? That you go to your next meeting, bust open the doors, start running through the hallway, and tumble into the office? Yeah? You could try an approach like this one. Guess what? Today, my friend, we're going to talk about annuities. Yes! Don't do that. It's not what I'm saying. But I am saying if your actions are congruent with your words or your bold ideas, your words lose their meaning very quickly. And transformations happen not because of one daring stunt. They happen because of consistent action, little things that add up over the course of time. To understand this, think no further than the incredibly amazing story, the powerful story of Harry Lind. Now, you probably don't know Harry, but don't worry, I do. Harry Lind was born in 1879 in Jamestown, New York, in the U.S., and he grew up in a very poor family. So when he was only 12 years old, he didn't go to school like his friends. No, he went to work every day in a furniture factory. He thought this would be his career for life. But then one day when he boarded the freight elevator that would take him down to work, just as it started to move, the cable that held the elevator simply snapped, sending it in a free fall where it crashed at the bottom of the shaft. And then, because there was no ceiling on the elevator, there was nothing at all to stop that cable. The heavy piece of steel which came down and struck Harry unconscious and near death. And when he did awake, partially paralyzed, he could barely move his hands. The doctors told him, look, you will never recover from this. Not completely. But they gave him an action. One thing, one small thing that he could do to improve himself. And see, for Harry, it looked like this. It was actually a wooden club. These were used for exercise. And the doctor told him to hold it in his hand, which he couldn't do. His grip wasn't strong enough. But with practice, he developed the strength to hold the club. That was his first achievement. And then he started to move it. You see, the first goal is always just to get a grip, just to be able to wrap your mind and your personal experience around what is happening. Because only from that perspective, true honesty, can we begin to take action. The doctor instructed him to make a bigger circle every day, even though it would hurt, and to do this with both hands. And he said, if you are committed, maybe one day you'll be able to bend your elbow, possibly use your shoulder. But really, Harry, it's up to you. When he accepted the gift, he worked with it daily until he was tired and sore and even frustrated. He'd have to put it down to rest and recover so that the next day he would pick it back up again. Not only did Harry Lind regain the use of his arms, he went on to become one of vaudeville, right? Vaudeville's greatest, what do you think? Jugglers. Correct. You see, in the U.S., he would perform all over the country, entertaining audiences, and in fact, started an organization very much like MDRT, called the IJA, the International Jugglers Association. Well, it was a group of professionals who were dedicated to elevating the standard of excellence and to really providing members not only encouragement, but the tools and the relationships to succeed. And I think about that story, and it is inspiring, but I also believe that Harry's chosen profession and his association is very much like you. All of you are professional jugglers. Would you agree with that? Think of it. You're all handling multiple objectives, multiple products, many clients. And the challenge is to take all of your throws to higher and higher targets, to make the catches, oh yeah, and to make it look easy. Think about your life and your job as a 24-hour-long juggling act. How about a visual aid? Because, my friends, each of you begin with a handful of tasks, projects, clients, responsibilities that you're determined to keep in the air. And usually, you start out by having your day planned so perfectly on your to-do list or in your smartphone. But when you engage life, when you let go, when you take action, things start happening in real time. Now, some of you have a more straightforward, matter-of-fact approach to the way you do things. Oh, thank you. Yes, some of you just kind of go about your day taking care of each task, moving forward with decisive action every single day. However, many of you, I know, are far more creative. Yes. Woo. You know who you are, you squiggles out there. Me too. But regardless of your personal style, that is the challenge, to take each throw to a higher and higher still target, to make all the catches, oh yes, and my friends, to make it look easy. Oh, thank you. I love that. Thank you very much. It feels good to get recognition from your clients, from your peers, for your past successful efforts. And yet, there is a danger in that when you listen to your audience. For example, if I'm so focused on my last performance or that past experience, I start going, hey, look what I can do over here. Look what I'm successful at. Look what worked before. And there's a danger there because I might not see the next thing that flies at me from a different direction until I'm just a little late. And now I'm turning around and reacting to what happened. And there's multiple challenges all at the same time. And then in the midst of this craziness, life speeds up. You look back at your watch and then at your to-do list and you realize you haven't done a thing on the list yet. Yes? And it's difficult, my friends, in the midst of so many challenges and constant change. How can you or I experience anything at all like balance? Ah, yes, balance. We've been told that that is the ultimate goal, the ultimate objective. Life balance. Work-life balance. Or at least a balance between all the energy you're pouring out in pursuit of what you want and what you're getting back in return. And yet, day to day and moment to moment, we are off balance. You're responding to change, for sure. You're invested in meaningful efforts to serve your clients and to improve yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, off balance is your reality. And I'm here to tell you that perfect balance it's basically a desirable idea. It's intriguing, but it's also completely unrealistic. You and I will never achieve perfect balance because that's not the reality. And so frankly, I have given up. And I'm no longer trying to live my life on balance. I have a new plan of action. I'm living off balance on purpose. Off balance on purpose. And those 4 words mean a couple different things, because you see, off balance is not a bad thing. You must be off balanced in order to improve yourself, in order to learn, in order to grow physically or professionally or spiritually or in any meaningful way. The question is, are you on purpose? Are you deliberate, intentional, and also bringing a sense of meaning and mission and purpose to what you do, which is how you sustain the commitment? Because you might experience a fleeting moment of balance from time to time. I wonder what that would look like. Maybe like this. You should see what it looks like from up here. But look, I'm not really balanced. I'm constantly making adjustments. I'm working very hard. And after all this effort, I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still in the same place. My friends, the foundations where we find ourselves may be a little unpredictable, maybe a little unstable and ever-changing. And there's 2 types of people. You know, when you think about your foundation, think about the economy, think about your business, think about your customers, think about uncertainty in your own life. Well, some people decide, what I need to do is restrict my efforts to protect more of what I have, to stay safe. And others say, out of uncertainty, there is a huge opportunity. First of all, if you can see it, and then if you can lead others in the right direction, if you can lean forward, off balance, on purpose, and drive yourself and those around you with a bold and daring vision. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, these ideas, these physical stunts are here to entertain you, of course, but more than that, to teach you valuable principles that you can apply to your challenges. Because you might say, well, I don't do that, and yet you do every day. You're in the process of making adjustments constantly. And what I want to tell you is, when you leave this meeting with new ideas, don't attempt to reinvent yourself completely in one day. Pick one adjustment that you can sustain and allow that to take hold in your life and begin to shape who you are. You see, for example, would you like to know the secret to juggling? The secrets of managing more in your life with greater success? Would you like to know? It's not every day a juggler will share his secret, but today, my friends, I will. And here it is. When you and I are doing many different things all at the same time, when it looks that way, that we're doing it all at once, when we are most successful, my friends, what you and I are actually doing is really just one thing at a time, really, really fast. Does that make sense? Okay, it will in a minute. And I could tell that's not what you expected. And yet, it's true. When we're at our best, we're not doing it all at once. You know, multitasking, fragmenting our focus. We're doing one thing, with excellence, with precision, and then we're moving on to the next. And the reason we can do that is this. While you're juggling your life, there's space between the throws and the catches. No matter how much is going on, no matter how many objects you have in the air, 5 or even 7 things, which I can do in my practice sessions, there's space between the throws and catches. And it's in those spaces, you see, where we make choices, where you can refocus on your targets, where you can apply yourself. Scientific American Magazine and Neuron Journal published a study that mapped the brains of humans who are engaged in multitasking. And what they find is, what we really do is we alternate between different sections of your brain. One area will fire up to handle this, then shut down so that another area of your brain can switch focus to the next task. And that's what we do. We don't have dual processors, right? You have one. When it comes to conscious thought, when it comes to your highest level performance, we need to focus with clarity on your targets. And that really gives us the second key to juggling. And that's this. If you want to take your throws higher, than you were before, if you want to perform at the highest level, to qualify for MDRT, or if you want to get up to the top of the table, if you want to be a leader in your profession, then the whole idea, my friends, is you can't get caught watching your hands. Like, hey, what's going on here? Jeez. You can't look down. And that is the key to juggling. The moment you look down to confirm you've just made a great catch, you can't see what's coming next. And more importantly, you can't see the pattern. You see, the pattern, that's the term the jugglers use to refer to the relationships between all of the objects or objectives that are in motion. And my friends, if you're looking at your hands, if you're just thinking of your past success, or if you're just racing to go faster and faster, you won't see the connectedness of the aspects of your life, and you won't feel a pattern. We must keep looking up, especially in the midst of change, because your focus is contagious. Others begin to see what you see. And yet, I know that when I said we're not doing it all at once, just one thing at a time, I lost some of you. Because you're thinking, no, Dan, not me. I'm always doing, many things at once. I'm great at multitasking. For example, you're checking your email at the same time you're talking to somebody on the phone, right? It's going great, but you don't want the person on the phone to know you're checking your email, so you type very quietly. But then something on your screen catches your attention and you stop listening for just a second, at which point you go back to the call and you realize you have no idea what they're talking about. Have you been there? Yeah, me too. Or maybe you're watching news on TV, on the cable channel. There's the story on the screen, but also the one at the bottom that you have to read, the crawl. And you're trying to read while you're watching and you're taking in all this information, and it's not easy. Or how about the first time you ever tried driving your car while dialing a cell phone? I thought this would be a piece of cake. I thought, this is easy because I know how to use a car. I know how to use a phone. What could be hard about this? But the moment I started steering with my knee, looking up and looking down, I realized, whoa, my independent experience with both tasks was not enough. This is going to take some practice. And it's kind of scary how many people are out there right now practicing. Yes? Yes. Here's why it's different. It's not doing two things at once. No, it's a new one thing. You're doing something new that's called driving your car while dialing a cell phone, which involves shifting your focus back and forth quickly and efficiently. Just the same way you came here with great skills, right? And yet, you're being challenged with new information. How will this apply to what you already know how to do? Well, you could look up and balance this new idea and then attempt to do basically everything else the same way you've always done it, which is very hard, especially while talking. Or maybe instead you should learn a new pattern and recognize that that new idea really changes everything, right? You need to adjust, to incorporate that new information and allow it to impact everything else that you do. Make sense? Thank you. So the real question is, are you willing to change your pattern? Are you? Now, don't answer that question lightly because it's a very serious thing. Most people are not. especially when they've had some level of success. But if you love what you do, if you're fully invested, my friends, the challenges are exciting. They're fun. When I learned to juggle, I was 11 years old. And this will surprise you, but they called me a hyperactive kid. No, seriously. I had a lot of energy. Now I'm a hyperactive 43-year-old, in case you're wondering. But when I found juggling, I found a channel for my energy. I loved it so much that I found a sense of purpose as well. And I know that sounds strange, but a mentor took an interest in me. Mentors are so important. And ladies and gentlemen, I just met Tony last night, but I get a sense that we learned from one of the greatest mentors in your industry just a moment ago. And that's because he, I'm sure, had great mentors in his life. And we pass it forward in a spirit of gratitude. I remember when I first learned to juggle, after I put in the time, that it finally clicked in and I could keep it going with 3 balls. And it felt great. But almost immediately a new question came into my mind. What was it? Sure. How do you do 4? So I got the 4th ball and I tried it. But I tried it the same way I knew how to do 3. And that didn't work. I went back to my mentor, frustrated. And I said, what's going on? And he showed me. He said, Dan, see, stop what you're doing, because when you add the 4th ball, you need to learn a new, what do you think? A new pattern, yes. And he showed me, with 3 balls, they cross your body like this. But with 4, you hold it longer so it circles back to the same side. With even numbers, it's 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. 4 balls don't cross. Kind of look like they do, but unless you're doing fancy tricks, they really don't. They stay on the same side. And just like you, when he showed me that, I went, oh, that's good information. So now I went home and I had the right information and I tried it, and this time it still didn't work. I hadn't practiced it enough to make it my own. But a funny thing happened. As I continued to struggle and practice 4-ball juggling, I began to notice something I didn't expect. My 3-ball juggling got much, much better. The truth is, I never really got the hang of 4. Not until I tried 5. If you think what you're doing now is difficult, guess what? It's time to try something harder. And that's how we learn. We don't master one level completely and then decide to move on. No, you have kids, then you figure them out later, right? You take the job and then you say, well, what is it we do exactly? You stretch into uncertainty, and then uncertainty stretches you. 5 balls goes back to crossing. And in my book, Off Balance on Purpose, I relate these, you see, to the 5 spheres of your life. Your work, your relationships, your health, your spiritual growth, and your personal interests, the things you love to do. Now, books about balance tell you to compartmentalize your life, to keep everything separate, which is ridiculous, because they're constantly intersecting where it matters the most, in your thoughts and your decisions about how you spend your energy, your money, and your time. And so I believe we need to take all of these spheres of our life to a higher level. And we need to integrate them into a workable pattern. Now, as you look up here and you see the 5 spheres of your life, can you see the pattern? Can you see it? Watch one ball as it traces the air. And can you, tell me, can you see the pattern? Some of you? No, that's not good enough. My friends, I want to make sure all of you get this. So at this point, I'm going to try some technology to help make this point very, very clear. And I think we're ready, guys. Lights, please. Oh, yes. Oh, very nice. And tell me, now, can you see the pattern? Some say it looks like the wings of a butterfly, right? I like to see an infinity sign. Do you see that? Yeah. To me, that means that you'll never reach your full potential because you have an infinite capacity to learn, to love, to grow, and to create. And so we put patterns in our life, and because they're working, we can leave them there, and we don't have to change, right? Wrong. The patterns, my friends, are constantly changing. Whew. Lights, please. Thank you. Your patterns are always changing, so why not make it off balance on purpose? Take charge of the change in your life, my friends, and that infinity pattern that you saw in the air, that pattern, you see, the way we fuel that pattern is through your energy and your time and your resources, your money. Your money drives the whole pattern. It's like the whole person concept that is so central and integrated to MDRT. And that's why what you do professionally is so meaningful and so purposeful. Because when you help someone to achieve financial security or to achieve peace of mind about their future, you impact every sphere in their life. Work, relationships, health, spirit, it all is there. Now I know sometimes the challenges you face can be much more severe, much more heavy duty. Okay. Oh. Yes. Now this bowling ball may represent to you a serious challenge in your life, a heavy weight that's wearing you down professionally or personally. Maybe it's something you haven't even told anyone else about because it's just too personal. How do you handle your heavy challenges? Well, you may have to work harder. You may have to dig down deep and find strength inside you to make it happen. In other words, working harder. Yeah, thank you. But maybe, but maybe it's not about working harder. No, it could be about working smarter, getting creative, finding a new way. In other words, using your head. Whoa. Or at least making it look that way. Right, my friend? Good throw back here. Thank you, Sandro. Good throw. It's not a real bowling ball. Do you get that? I'm okay. Are you okay? But it does make a very real point. You don't really know what the next challenge is. You may think you do, but when it gets here, it will always be different in some way. And many times, it's not as difficult or dangerous as you thought. You see, from our present moments, those future challenges are amplified by the power we give them through our fear, through our uncertainty. What you may find is when the challenges do get here, you've been developing the right skills along the way. What changes is how you apply yourself, and maybe how you apply your group of peers and professionals, and you become truly a part of MDRT by engaging the power of this association. And you know what? I need to do that. I need to engage you. And Sandro, you gave a remarkable talk today. That was fantastic. And you just caught the bowling ball when I threw it to you. Would you come up on stage with me for just a moment? Let's give him some encouragement, people. Yes. Beautiful. All right. Thank you, sir. I bet you didn't think you'd be back up here so quickly. Yeah. Now, Sandro, I wanted to together, collaborate and create something new and exciting. They've seen some juggling so far, but I thought maybe we could take this whole thing to the next level. Are you with me?
Yeah.
All right, great. You're going to love this. I brought with me some objects right here, which are fantastic. You can see they are very real. In fact, they're sharp. Can you see the edges?
Yep.
I keep these sharp with a grinder, so that keeps me authentic and real. They're nervous, and probably you are too, for good reason. Everything I've done so far has been fun but relatively safe. And now I have upped my stakes. So, up yours. Up your stakes. Up your challenge. Up your goal. When you take on a higher degree of risk or uncertainty, you have to get very specific about what that goal really is. See, here, the goal isn't just to make a catch. No, more specifically it is to catch the handle. The handle. Yeah, you got that now. That's good. That's important, right? And they're all different. This one has a small handle. This one has blades on the front and the back. So I need to wait and then reach in, right? Not too soon or I'll cut myself there. And then this one is very heavy on top. The handle is light. So when I let go, it actually comes backward toward my face. So what I have to do with every throw of this one is to purposely push it forward. Exactly. It's scary. But you know what, my friend? We can achieve this. We can achieve this. Because even with knives, I can't do it all at once. I'm just doing one thing at a time, and there's space between the throws and catches. You see, Sandra, if I let go of this one axe, or this knife, it is out of my hand, right? And then it's also out of my what? Out of my control. I've let it go. There's nothing I can do at that point to influence this one. So I need to let it go so I can handle this one the way I need to handle that, with precision and focus. Now, if you feel overwhelmed in your life, I think that comes from the inability to disengage from the things that are out of your hands. In other words, you must let go to get a grip. Does that make sense? Good. Now, Sandra, I notice you're a little nervous, but don't worry. There is no way I would ask you to juggle those knives with me today. I have something else in mind for you that will take this to a whole new level. You ready? You're going to love this. All right. Sandro. No. He's not actually riding the unicycle. That would be ridiculous. Sandro, instead, you will be on my shoulders. So just stand here,
Right.
Get a running leap, jump right up there, buddy. You got it. Just come on, Sandro. You got it. Jump on my shoulders. Go for it. Go for it. You got it. Yeah. Wait, hold on. He was going to do it, which is awesome. You see, if your dream is crazy and wild enough, and if you're totally committed, other people just go along with you. It's amazing. But Sandro, now, what I need from you actually is just some support. So if you'll face the audience, put your arms at your side. I'm just going to lean on Sandro. Very strong man, I can tell you work out a lot, Sandro. I'm going to need to lean on you. Just as when you move to the next level in your business, you need somebody to lean on. I guarantee you those people are here at this meeting, right? Or even if you are successful, to get to that next higher level. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all about support. When I let go, Sandro, I will do this on my own. Oh, geez. Excuse me. Sorry, me. Beautiful. Did I do that? That's good. Little flippy thing right there. I like that. All right. When I let go, Sandro will move out of the way. Now you can go left or right. I don't care. Just please be decisive. Ready? Yep. Go. Fantastic. Oh, my goodness. Whoa, hello. Oh, my goodness. Huh. No. You know what? When I first tried to ride one of these things, I learned a lot about balance very quickly. First of all, I tried it like this. I thought I'd be close to the ground just to be careful. What I realized is if I looked down at the ground, that's where I went immediately. We are drawn toward where we focus. You've heard it time after time today. It is about focus, vision, belief. If I want to get across the stage and back to you, my friend, I've got to look that way. I need to envision the path. But then tell me, what is the first move I make? Whew. What was it? Yes, you lean forward. You lean forward, off balance, on purpose, right? What you do, for real, on a 6-foot unicycle, is you lean forward, you start falling toward your face, and then you chase your body with the unicycle. So hopefully you don't get to your face. This is scary. But unless you feel the excitement that comes from leaning forward, you're not going there. In fact, if I'm apprehensive about trying something new, I may start going backwards, Sandra. Or maybe I'm just going to stay where I am, right here, because I am successful. Look what I'm doing. I'm actually going, no, watch. Thank you. This is called idling. Idling. I'm going forward, then backward. Forward and backward and forward and backward. Just to stay in the same spot. Because there's no such thing as standing still. Oh. Energy is always flowing through you, your actions, your interactions with others. So instead of holding it back, my friends, look up and lean forward into uncertainty. It may be uncomfortable, but here's the thing. If you limit yourself to what's comfortable, you deny yourself what's possible. Sandra, I think we're ready. Grab those knives. There you go. This will be good. And step backwards on that X. You got it. Perfect. Face me. And now, Sandra, you will throw me the knives. But first, we're going to communicate. Ready? Let's start with that one, the lightest of the three. No flipping. Don't flip the knife. I want you to bend your wrist, cock it like that. Good. And you're going to go down and up, kind of pushing it straight forward from your right hand over here to my left hand. Right there, Sandra. Right there. I'll say go. Woo! Or whenever you want. That's good. Nicely done. The second knife. Ready? And go. Better communication that time. That was great. All right, Sandra. And the last one. And go. Throw that. Now catch this one. Face the audience. Put your hands on your hips. Your feet further apart. Even more so. That's good. That's important. That way I can get the wheel right here. You ready? I don't think so. I don't think so. But what a partner, yeah? Sandra, you can just hang out there for a second. Don't go anywhere. I might need you. If what I'm saying is true, I should be able to make this happen. Even though I'm 12 hours off my normal time zone. Even though I'm on an unfamiliar stage with 4,000 new friends. Even though each challenge is unique and dangerous with high consequences. There's space between each throw and catch. So if I can manage my thinking, I can manage my actions. And yet nothing happens for the better unless I'm first willing to let go. Let go. What is it maybe you need to let go of? Maybe you need to let go of your fear, of your perfection, of your past success, or your desire to do it all on your own. My friends, when you venture into that wonderful space where you take action, you create results, and you learn at a higher level than ever before. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Yes! Thank you! Sandro! Thank you, my friend! Wonderfully done, Sandro! Wait! Sandro! Please, have one seat. Thank you, and thank you, my friend. Before I leave you, I have to just convey one more thing, my friends. These ideas are exciting. Your life is exciting. Your opportunity is limitless. And I think it's so important that you approach every day with these ideas in mind. Take your stage with energy and excitement, right? Make new partners along the way. Be willing to drop and learn from those drops, because that's where we get the greatest lessons. And you never know who's in your audience. You never know who's watching, who sees you and says, I love the way you handled that. Let me help you. Let me refer you. Let me mentor you or model you. You see, friends, I want to close with this story. It was 1994. I had just finished a show in Atlanta, Georgia. My audience walked away, except for one man. This older man walked up to me and introduced himself, and his name was Merk Smith. Now, Merk, it was probably about my grandfather's age, and told me that he was once a juggler. He wanted to learn how to juggle clubs. He had taught himself how to juggle balls. But then in 1941, his life changed forever when he was sent to war. During World War II, he was stationed in different parts of the world: England, Africa, Italy. It was there that his troop was visited by some entertainers who put on a show for the soldiers. And there was a juggler in that show. They talked. And hearing that Merk wanted to learn clubs, this man said, I know someone, a wonderful juggler, but also a furniture maker. He makes his own clubs. Maybe he would sell you some. And he passed along that man's address and his name, Harry Lind. And now I know you know who Harry is. Merk ordered 5 clubs. They were waiting for him when he got home. He learned 3 very well, 4 a little, and then he said other things in his life became more important. So he put them back in the original box on a shelf where they had been when I met him for 49 years. He said to me, I still have them. I always thought maybe one day I'd run into a juggler who could use them. If you'd like, I'm happy to just give them to you. Well, I didn't know how I could possibly repay such a generous gift, but don't worry, I accepted. At his house the next day, we took down the clubs and I moved over the grass to be careful. And when I let go, I realized they were much lighter than I thought they would be. They're hollowed out to perfection. And when they hit your hands, they ring with a beautiful sound, almost like playing music. I finished with 3, grabbed the 4th one next, and again they fell perfectly. I even threw one behind my back and finished with no drops. I looked at Merk. Together we looked at the 5th club. I was off balance, near the edge of my ability, but it was on purpose, because it wasn't about me. It was about this man who believed in me. And when I let go, I found that perfect pattern for about 12 catches. And when I finished, I thanked him. I brought them home and I hung them on my wall. Boom! Like maybe your MDRT certificate. Hung it up there. People come over, they'd ask, I could tell them the story. Walking by the clubs on the wall, I felt a satisfaction for having it. But over time, they lost their meaning. It was 2 years later that I finally remembered what he said to me. He said, I always thought maybe one day I'd run into a juggler who could use them. Use them. They were never intended to hang on a wall. They're designed to fly. Merk waited almost 50 years to give them to the right juggler. He picked me. With every gift we receive throughout our life comes the responsibility, I think, to use the gift. So they are not on my wall. I brought them to Thailand. And before I leave you, I want to share this gift one more time. Now, I brought 3, and they're very breakable. So they might break today. I'd hate that. But to me, it would be much worse not to know what it felt like to use them, to share them, to hear this sound. Listen. My wedding ring helps on the other side. But the music only happens when you put them all together. We're all given gifts. Some we're born with. I believe those are God-given. Others we acquire through our lifetime, from your experience, from your relationships, from your drops, and from events like this one. What I learned from Merck is in order for the gifts to appreciate in value, it's not enough to value the gift. Hang it on a wall. You need to use it, like Harry did with that first club, until you're tired and sore, maybe even frustrated, and you need to put it down and rest so that the next day you will pick it back up again, because that's what you are meant to do. I look forward to continuing the conversation with you, but for now, if you will, don't clap, just listen and hear these sounds. Yes. Thank you all so much. God bless you.